everyone. Once again, this is Dare to Speak, and I just wanted to basically do another video. Here, a little bit more comfortable like this. um, I wanted to do another video on the alien and UFO phenomenon. I'm kind of encouraged to do that more now since I'm getting a few more requests on the subject. And I do have personal stories of my own involving, UFOs and aliens and stuff like that. And I don't want to get too personal, but then I don't know if I might share a few more of my stories. However, when it comes to this type of phenomenon, people feel that I guess you could say for some reason a lot of people are starting to realize and become more and more aware of the UFO phenomenon. I made a few videos indicating that aliens are not demons. For those of you who think that they're part of Lucifer's regime or having something to do with Satan, that these aliens are in fact fallen angels, of Lucifer's army and things like that. I'm just gonna let you know right now, from my own experience, from my own personal experience, and to let you know from my own personal research, that aliens, especially the sinister ones, because there are aliens that are good also. We actually live in a duality. There is a war between good and evil aliens, just to let you know. And whether you want to believe that or not is up to you. But aliens, the sinister ones, they are not demons. Okay, they are flesh and blood, biological beings that come from other planets. And yes, I'm sorry, they do come from other planets. They do come from other solar systems or star systems, other galaxies, and things like that. And there's many different species, and a lot of them have their own agenda. Some have good intentions, and some have very evil ones. And they're very extremely antagonistic to human beings. People talk about the grays, which is the most common ones that we see, that we usually come in contact with. There's the less common ones like the insectoids. They're like moderate common. I mean, you don't see them that often, but you don't see them once in a great while either. And the ones that you do see once in a great while, that's very rare, are the reptilians. People have their own different names for them or for what they're called. When it comes to something like that, like I said before, about 90% of the time it's usually the grays. And sometimes it's not just the small, short ones. They're like, there's the ones that are a little taller. And there's some that have some sort of a weird look to them. Some have like mantis type heads. Some of them wear cloaks. And some of them are also, from what I could tell you, from things that I already know, some of them are actually involved in the so-called satanic ritual type abuse of generational Satanists, and which again, like I said before, it has nothing to do with. They're not worshiping Satan. They're worshiping something else, and these beings are actually associated with them, associated with that. And there's some cases that I read about people like people that are in ritual sacrifices, that they actually witnessed it, and they were ritually abused, sexually abused. There's a few cases that I actually studied that from some books that I read that I bought from some years back. That they actually mentioned it, that they actually seen them in their rituals. So it's not just men and women in dark cloaks with animal masks and the whole altar, the whole scenario thing. It's more to it than that. And I just want to get more and more people to come forward with, because there's already been a couple of people that shared their personal stories with me. And again, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Some of them are actually kind of scary. And I just wanted to let also to know that now I'm being a little bit more encouraged to talk about it, because I would also like to talk about other things too, like you know, haunted houses and ghosts and things like that, because that's something that I mostly have a serious background on, and also and especially sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis, big time. I am. You could talk. You could come consider me like for example. Hold on. Like for example, this the Hatman or the Shadow people, as they call them. I did a video on that, on the Hatman. So if you actually look it up, Dare to Speak, and then sleep paralysis, the Hatman, whatever, you'll find my video on it. I only encountered this being only once in my life. It was about maybe 10 years ago or something, I'm not really sure. But I encountered this person 10 or 12 years ago or whatever like that. Only once, and it was scary, and it wasn't that long. But then you would have to see the video in order to find out what happened. Yeah, well, anyways, the thing about it is not only very intense at an interesting level, or anything like that, but the sleep paralysis is the one that I'm like the most foremost expert on, caused by my own personal experience. Because some people say if they see the old hag, they see the Hat Man or the Shadow people or whatever you want to say, see it or call it. I mean, uh, and some people see strange looking creatures, and some people say see aliens. In my case, it's it's always, most of the time, I would say about maybe 90% of the time, ever since I was about maybe four, I would say about 5 years old, almost six. It was always 90% of the time goblins and elves, or what you would call fairy beings, bogarts, bogies, if I'm pronouncing that right, um, goblins, hobgoblins, all these different types, and they do have a distinctive feature. Their faces are a little bit different, and the way their body type is different. The worst ones that I ever encountered were the bogarts, and for those of you who don't know what a bogart is, as far as one of the fairy beings, they sound, when they approach you when you have sleep paralysis, they sound like little kids laughing. But like try to picture a little kid breathing in a balloon filled with helium, and then they start laughing. That funny noise, that fun, how they change your voice, how your voice changes. Now think about a bunch of little kids breathing in helium from a balloon, and then their voice changes, and they have some kind of demented laugh. Um, and then when you see them, they look like kids, except they're dirty. Like their skin texture is like they look like claymation figures, and they have like elf or goblin type of features to it, and they're very ugly. They're very scary looking. They look like grotesque human beings, like I said, like claymation type figures. Some of them don't necessarily look alike. Some of them have wings. Some of them have, but they all have this type of deformity, and they're very strong. They do have a great deal of physical strength, a high level of muscle tone like you cannot even believe. Goblins and elves also have the same thing, that level of muscle tone. That's why they're so fast, because they have a high density of muscle fibers, their muscle tone, because of the way they're created. They were created biologically. I'm not gonna. There's a lot to explain on that though, but maybe in some other video I'll explain about that. They have like a wet, clammy. The Bogarts, when they touch you, they leave some kind of wet residue. I think because I felt my astral body leave, and then they will come by, and then they'll come into my room and jump on my bed, and then they'll put their hand over my face, or their creepy hands will just pinch my nose, and I'll go into a panic. And there's been times where I fought them off, and I used to pray when I used to believe in God, but then not anymore. I did my own thing. I said, get away from me. I don't give a fuck who you are. I'm sick and tired of you, and I just put my foot down and I fought them. Not physically fought them, but I fought them in the astral plane when my soul left my body, because they enter they're from the physical world, except they have some kind of highly advanced technology, alien technology that they use. Some of them have something on their head or on their bodies or something they would carry, some kind of implement that would take them from this dimension, the third one, to the fourth one. They'll go in and out of dimensions. Something that they have on their bodies, something that they're using. That, how do I know for sure? Because I witnessed it. I saw it when I fought them. And they're making us think that they're actually evil spirits, but they're not evil spirits. They're biological beings. You might think it's bullshit, but hey, I'm speaking from experience. I fought them off, and when you're in the astral plane, your imagination has no limits. If you're able to control your fear, you become physically strong and you could actually fight them off. But you have to control your fear. Otherwise, they'll take control of you, and they will fuck you up big time. They'll make your life a living hell. They can even take your life. And a lot of these attacks used to happen to me so many times that I got used to it. I didn't like it, of course, obviously, but I just got used to it. So it's been a long while since I've been attacked, so they're pretty much gone and done and over with because of something else that happened that caused the sleep paralysis to end, and completely end permanently. And it's something that happened to me that I'm very grateful for. Yeah. And I wanted to know, I just wanted to tell you that these beings, they're, like I said before, they're not demons. So they're not evil spirits. They're actually biological, physical beings. And another thing to bear in mind is, if they are demons, why would they leave implants in your body so they could track you down and find you? Why would they use advanced technology to travel to dimensions? And the UFOs are actually real. They're physical. Demons don't fly around in UFOs. Demons don't leave implants in people to find them. If they're demons, they don't need to use anything like that. So it's very stupid to even. I'm sorry, but I'm very sorry not to offend anybody, but especially Christians and things like that. I'm not trying to deliberately offend anybody, but it's very stupid. It's very stupid to think that they're not demons. They're biological beings. And so I don't know if I left anything out, other than the fact that a lot of these stories about alien and human contact in a very disturbing way and with sinister motives and things like that. I like to talk about it. So if you have any stories to share, any questions or comments, you know the routine. Just leave them. Make sure to subscribe if you want me to talk more and more about this, which I'm going to anyways. But I would just appreciate it. You don't really have to. I don't want you to think that you're obligated to. So, but I would like to talk about this more. And again, and also please share. The more likes, the better. Again, to all of you, take care.